Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast. My name is Ben Lister. Welcome along to the Radio Legends series, episode 21. And here we are today. I'm out and about, not in a home studio style. I'm in Brid today. So, yeah, here with broadcasting legend Graham Hardy. Hello, Graham. Welcome along.
Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Just wish there was still 270 out there to listen to.
We're on the banks of the North Sea.
Where 270 used to sit out there.
Exactly where we're looking out where 270 used to sit. So yeah.
We used to listen to people like Paul Burnett on transistor radios on the beach and look at the ship.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the interview. And today's contestant, we're in Brid and he's living in Brid at the moment. It's the legend Graham Hardy. So yeah, 6 questions if that's okay, Graham.
Yeah, fire away.
Okay, let's go for it. You ready to rumble in the jungle?
Yep.
Okay, let's go for it. Question 1. Where did you start your love for radio?
Here at Bridlington on the beach, about 7 or 8 years old, transistor radio, listening to 270 back in 66, 67.
Brilliant. What is your fondest memories? Because we're only about, I wouldn't say about 8 meters, 10 meters away from where you were sitting as a young lad on the beach.
Being on the beach, the sunshine, just listening to music and enjoying the sea, going out for a swim, coming back in, occasionally seeing DJs and crew coming into the pier at Bridlington to come into town. They come in and get supplies and everything.
So you had people in this town like Paul Burnett?
Different people who were off the ship coming in, yeah.
Yeah, you had.
Because it used to be at Scarborough, and then they brought it to Bridlington because the bay was calmer.
Yeah, it's a calm place here, and there's a lot of rich radio history in this neck of the woods. A bit like Yorkshire Coast Radio, I think they used to have a studio just down there.
They did, just in Brid itself, and then that was closed, and they went to the one in Scarborough.
Down Holstray Road.
That's the one.
They had it, which is now a flat, I'm told.
Yeah.
Where that old studio actually was, which is not very far from us, which is about 1,000 meters in that direction.
Yeah.
Just over, yeah. Anyway, question 2. Who were your early inspirations in when you were starting out for your love for radio?
Sounds bad, Terry Blackburn. I thought he was, when he came onto Radio 1 from the Pirates, and he opened that morning with Flowers in the Rain by The Move, which happened to be my favourite record at the time. He opened with that, and I thought, I could do that. He was his welcome, everyone, good morning, welcome to the exciting new sound of Radio 1, was his voiceover. And I thought, yes, and I used that quite a lot when I was doing discos and nightclub, welcome to the exciting night here at wherever. And yeah, that's he played, I think it was Bee Gees, Massachusetts was the second record.
Brilliant. And what I remember when he split up from one of his wives, he used to play Chicago, Don't Leave Me Now, If You Leave Me Now.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
The other influential DJ was another Radio 1, was Alan Freeman. He used to do a show on Saturday afternoons where he played, shall we say, some rock music. And it was the first time I ever heard a band Montrose, Bad Motor Scooter.
Yeah. Yeah, and also there's also a lot of good people. Fluffy Freeman is his nickname. Also.
Yeah.
He was on the TV radio show, called Pick of the Pops.
Yeah, that was it. That was on the Radio 1.
Which ended up on Radio 2.
Well, it was on Radio 1, but Radio 1 used to join in with Radio 2's VHF, as it was, then Waveband, to give better reception on the afternoon. Whilst Radio 2 did their own thing on either, I can't remember if it was long wave or medium.
Whereas because Bruno Brooks used to do his chart, because he used to syndicate that chart show on Sunday afternoon. And Matt Goodyear at the time. And it used to be in stiff competition with the network chart, the commercial radio chart, which was hosted by either Kid Jensen or Neil Fox.
But I think from a point of view as a DJ back in the days, I used to prefer the BBC chart. Used to
Yeah.
go by the sales chart.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we'll move on to question 3. What is your favourite part about being a radio fan?
The fact that there's no limit to what you can do, particularly these days. If you could be broadcasting on radio and you could be listening in Australia, America, wherever. So there's no limit. So you can put your choice of music basically around the planet.
Brilliant. That's it for part 1. Join me in a bit for part 2, but for now, back to the studio. Welcome back to part 2 of my interview with Graham Hardy. So, Graham, before we start part 2, what is your favourite radio station?
I'm a great fan of Radio Caroline these days. It's the only station I usually listen to. It's on 648 AM. It's on DAB in certain towns. It's on the internet around the world globally. And it's also on phone app, Alexas, everything. It's everywhere. The music is what I grew up with and love. It's played by DJs who know about music, who are passionate about music, who talk about it. And the other thing is, all the DJs, they're all volunteers. Everybody on Caroline is a volunteer. And currently, Caroline is trying to raise funds for repairs to the Ross Revenge. The ship needs to be brought into dry dock for extensive work. And at the moment, there's a big push to raise funds. So if anyone feels like donating, please do to Radio Caroline. Be much appreciated to keep it on the air. It's the last of the real pirate radio ships.
Yeah, it's one of the last.
Its official name is the MV Ross Revenge.
Yeah. And now we'll move on to question 4. What is your favourite moment from listening to the radio that you liked?
Favourite moment listening to the radio? I have to say, I think it was a great moment when Radio Caroline, after all the years of being illegal, because Caroline didn't go down with the Marine Offences Act in 1967, 14th of August, Caroline kept going in various guises. They had a sinking ship, they had all sorts of little issues, but they kept going. And finally, in 2017, Ofcom gave them a full licence. And I think hearing Caroline broadcast for the first time on 648 legally was a great moment.
Brilliant. And yeah, that's brilliant. And now we'll go on to question 5. How do you think the last 2 years has affected the radio landscape from your opinion?
I think radio was a great thing in the last 2 years. I think it kept a lot of people going during a very difficult time of lockdown. I think it's a great shame that such stations like in our area, Viking and the local radio T's and all these have been merged into one big station via Global or Bauer. And I think, we've lost that little bit of localism, because Viking was great around here. We also had Yorkshire Coast Radio, actually here, in Scarborough and Bridlington, very local. But greatest hits and all the ways that these stations have been combined, it's not the same.
And now you get your local stations like This Is the Coast.
Yeah, and that's the only one, and that's mainly focused on Scarborough.
And This Is the Coast I don't think has a proper radio studio for itself, but it has loads of different home bases.
I think they're relying on home studios, home broadcast.
Yeah, hopefully they'll get a studio of their own. Well,
I think with a coastal radio station like that, having a building where people can go past and say, "Oh, that's the radio," pop in, pick up a souvenir, pick up a leaflet, whatever, would be a good thing for them.
But who knows? They're just trying to work the way through this crisis that's going on at the moment. Because
as is everybody.
And how has it affected you?
It hasn't really. Because I do a lot for myself anyway. I took retirement a couple of years ago out of choice, and I set myself up for that, and I've got involved in supporting Radio Caroline in the time I've been free.
Yeah, yeah, and look out onto the lovely North Sea.
It is. It's a perfect place here.
Do you think pirate radio would ever return to this coast?
No, I don't. I don't think pirate radio will come back. There's too many restrictions in the way. There's too many licenses needed. It's not a practical thing to do. You need to get very good quality, and you need to get a signal out. Internet would help, but I think there's so many land-based stations, to open another pirate wouldn't help.
And I don't know if Ofcom would approve it.
Oh, I don't think Ofcom would. I think Ofcom would. It took them 50 odd years to give Caroline a license.
Yeah, yeah.
But having said that, Caroline was granted 1 kilowatt in 2017. They've just been up. They're now broadcasting on 4 kilowatts. So even on AM, the signal is quite good in a lot of the UK now. We get it on AM in Bridlington, good.
Yeah, and you also have a station out here called Bridlington Gold.
Have we?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, Bridlington Gold's only an internet. And I'm sorry, I'm one of the old school. I have a radio, and I like to pick it up off an aerial outside. I have some specialist kit that's AM and FM, and hence the reason I like Caroline.
And yeah, that's brilliant. And my last question on the list is, what advice would you give to people who want to go to Caroline and present on Caroline and other stations?
If you want to present on Caroline, do a demo and send the demo into the Caroline office. All the addresses are on the website.
And also, I heard a rumour that Rod Stewart's manager, Annie Chalice, was worked at Caroline for a while.
He may have done that.
Annie Chalice's manager.
I will inquire next time I'm on the boat.
Because Carl Kingston only got the job, but Caroline, because there was a man called Peter Tate who was on it as well, and his best friend, the TV personality, and he was more known as a TV personality, Dale Winton, didn't want to go on Caroline.
Oh, right, okay. Well, when I was down there, I had the pleasure of meeting Peter Moore, who is now the, if you like, owner of Caroline. He took over in the last couple of years after Rowan O'Reilly passed away.
Did Peter you Moore, get to meet Ronan O'Reilly?
I didn't, but I got to meet Peter Moore.
What was that like?
That was great. Great, nice bloke, lovely bloke. We had a little chat, and we travelled out together on the tender to the Ross's End.
Brilliant. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me today, Graham.
It's a pleasure.
Don't forget, this will be available. Please, thank you very much for joining me. To you people out there as well, thank you for joining me. So please give it up one more time for Mr. Graham Hardy. Thank you very much for watching and listening. This will be available on my YouTube channel in video form, wix.com website in audio form, and on a radio station near you in the future, hopefully. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Ben, for talking to me.
You're welcome. And until next time, that's a wrap, and back to the studio.